Hello, guys. This is Jack, and today I'm going to be doing my Golden Globes predictions as it's coming up in next month for the nominations. I want to get out of the way all of my precursor stuff and just my predictions in general. I'm going to go completely deep into each category except song and the big best Hollywood production nomination, which is basically just the best popular film nomination. I'm gonna skip that, and yeah, let's just get into it. So starting from the beginning, I'm gonna go with best actor drama, starting with Adrien Brody at number 1, Timothée Chalamet at number 2, Ralph Fiennes at number 3, Colman Domingo at number 4, Daniel Craig at number 5, and Paul Mescal at number 6. First three categories are just the first three front runners for their respective films. Adrien Brody, starring in The Brutalist, he's definitely getting in no matter what. I think The Brutalist has a few chances to win Best Picture and also just Best Actor and Best Director. Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, that's against the whole idea of the biopic genre. The Golden Globes love biopics, and him playing Bob Dylan is going to be a big factor. And then Ralph Fiennes for number 3 for Conclave. I would actually throw him in number 2, but I think again the Golden Globes really likes these big celebrity wins, and Timothée Chalamet hits that all those beats. While Ralph Fiennes, if Timothée Chalamet didn't exist this season, I think Ralph Fiennes had a really fair shot of winning this category. And then number 4, Colman Domingo for Sing Sing. That's probably, again, due to the fact that the film, it kind of faded out, but it's kind of coming back in the forefront as A24 is going to restart their campaign for the film starting in December. But they already started kind of small with the campaign. And honestly, I think Colman Domingo, if the film would have been done better, back in, August, if the film came out a little bit better around that time, I think Colman Domingo would have gotten this award. But now, Sing Sing's kind of faded out, and it's coming back. And then number 5, Daniel Craig. This is just more of an inspired choice, but I can definitely see it because, the movie Queer itself is kind of divisive. It hasn't been showing up a lot of kind of categories with a lot of the nominations predictions, but I think Daniel Craig will be safe here. And then number 6, I have Paul Mescal for Gladiator 2. That's, again, another inspired thing, but it's more not really inspired because Gladiator 2 is going to be a huge movie, and the Globes again really likes big movies, so you can definitely count it in here. But yeah, that's my best actor drama predictions. So up next, I have best actress drama, starting with Saoirse Ronan at number 1, Nicole Kidman at number 2, Angelina Jolie at number 3, Marianne Baptiste at number 4, Fernanda Torres at number 5, and then Tilda Swinton at number 6. Again, I think all of these are probably due to big names, and the Globes, again, really likes big names. And even though they've kind of cleaned up the house last year with adding more voters and then cleaning up the ones that weren't a part of the industry, the Hollywood circle anymore. But yeah, they cleaned up last year and they've gone more international with their picks. But I have the first 3 as a really solid kind of lay ground. Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. The movie itself is fine, but I think the performance, again, is really going to hit with a lot of voters. Number 2, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. This is one of those movies that might not extend past the Golden Globes and may hit Critics' Choice or maybe SAG. But I think starting here will be a great starting ground for Baby Girl, and I think Nicole Kidman deserves a nomination. I think it's one of her best performances in a really long time. I want to review the film because I saw it at Toronto Film Festival, but yeah, she's definitely getting in. And the number 3, Angelina Jolie for Maria. That's another one that's definitely a sure prediction nomination type of deal. And the movie itself, kind of The Outrun, it's kind of not divisive, but it kind of just faded out once the movie came out around the festival circuits. But everybody keeps on highlighting Angelina Jolie, so you gotta predict it. And then number 4, I have Marianne Baptiste for Hard Truths. This is another film that might only get a single nomination aside from best screenplay, but I think Marianne Baptiste, her performance in this movie is just like pure fire. Like every single scene, she's just like eating up like the scenery, and it makes sense for her to like be a part of this nomination ring. And then number 5, this is the more of like the international like kind of side of the pick, with Fernando Torres for I'm Still Here. I saw this also at Toronto Film Festival. I thought it was fine. It kind of got repetitive, some of the storylines, but Fernando Torres, her performance in it is really, really, really like fantastic. Like she steals the whole entire movie, even though her like performance is very internal instead of external. And then number 6, I have Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door. This is just another kind of not inspired nominee choice, but I can see it happen because again, Tilda Swinton, she's a huge name. She won for Michael Clayton long times ago at the Oscars. And The Room Next Door, even though the movie is slightly divisive for a lot of Pedro Almodovar fans, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, but her performance in this movie is very emotional, and it hits a lot of like the beats that Globe voters really like. So yeah, that's my pool for the Best Actress Drama category. So up next, I have Best International Feature, starting with Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Didi, Kneecap, All We Imagine as Light, and The Seed of the Sacred Fig. Now here's the thing. I think Emilia Perez has a fair shot of winning this category, but bear in mind, this is an international body. They really enjoy international films. And again, Emilia Perez, it's very well loved a lot with voters and people who have seen it at the festivals. Me personally, I thought it was really good. I had some problems with it. But again, that doesn't matter because, you know, Film Twitter's been like really like trying to like make this the villain of the year, and it's not really that. I mean, some of the themes in the movie are kind of like problematic, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to like win here. But I would say look out for I'm Still Here. Again, I saw this movie at Toronto Film Festival. I had problems with it, but it was really emotionally effective, and it hits a lot of like the beats that the voters really enjoy. And on top of that, it's Brazil. Brazil is a huge country. You gotta like go hard with it. And then number 3, Didi. This movie just like came and went. I saw it at Sundance and I thought it was really fantastic, but it was like a summer release, and it kind of like faded and came like a little bit back now that it's kind of like in contention for the Globes, but you got to put it in there. And the same thing with like Kneecap, another Sundance film that just like came and went, but I think it's a fair shot. And then at number 5, I have All We Imagine as Light. I saw this one also at the Toronto Film Festival. Really enjoyed it. India didn't pick it for their Best International Feature. It was another country that decided to choose it. It's very controversial for its themes and its political backdrop. And the same thing with The Seed of a Sacred Fig, which I have at number 6. Same kind of deal. Saw it at Toronto. Very controversial. Would be a great win if it does win here. But yeah, that's like my top 6 for Best International Feature. Next up, I have Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Number 1, I have Anora. Number 2, I have Wicked. Number 3, I have Emilia Perez. 4, Real Pain. Number 5, Challengers. Number 6, The Substance. Okay, so Anora, frontrunner. I don't have anything like bad to say about it. I think it has a really good shot of winning it here. But at number 2, Wicked, you gotta like really think about this, because right now, like the reception for the people who have seen it, the critics are like really like glowing it up and glazing it and putting it on the map. I kind of expected it because it's John M. Chu, who did In the Heights. And I thought that movie was really fantastic. And he's been stepping up his game for the past couple of years. And from here, like what I'm hearing right now, it seems like this is like the second like front runner for Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy. And again, I would say that Emilia Perez at number 3, it's a fair fit here because of its controversial themes and how it's like splitting a lot of people who have seen it. I think they would go more for the traditional like musical, which is Wicked, in my like sense from what I'm like kind of like boiling together. But at the number 4, A Real Pain, I rewatched this again, and it hits even better the second time watching it. It hits all the right beats. It hits all the emotional beats. All the performances are great. The writing's like really strong. Makes sense to it for be here. Blech. I'm the number 5 challengers. Probably the only spot it's going to like get nominated here, aside from another category and score. And then also at number 6, I have The Substance. This is an inspired choice. I'm kind of like going into like this award season wondering if The Substance is really going to be a big thing, despite its like genre bias with a lot of these awards bodies. But I gotta put it here because I gotta like join in the club. I gotta like join the conversation. I have to like be here. And I think The Substance, despite it being a horror movie, I think this year it's going to be a year where we finally accept these types of genre films. And it would be nice to see The Substance get this nomination. I think it would start a conversation of whether or not like this film should be a part of the conversation. But yeah, that's just me. And that's my Best Picture musical or comedy. Next up, I have Best Director, starting with Sean Baker, then Brady Corbet, Edward Berger, Jacques Audiard, Denis Villeneuve, and Coraline Farget. First two, Sean Baker, Brady Corbet, they're duking it out. And this is just translating towards the entire race right now. I would still go with Sean Baker for number 1 because of the Nora hype right now. But don't be surprised if Brady Corbet takes it right now. Mainly because there might be a split between Best Director and then Best Original Screenplay. And the number 3, I have Edward Berger for Conclave, which I think will hit a little bit stronger for awards body voters, especially the older generation, since Conclave kind of like deals with like political espionage and just very traditional filmmaking. And then number 4, I have Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez. It's not an inspired choice, but it's kind of going to happen, especially here since it's a musical and the Globes really enjoy musicals. And then number 5, I have Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2. This is another one where I think now, since this film has come out and people have watched it, it seems more predictable to have Denis like finally here since the last time around. Not in the Golden Globes, but like at the Oscars, he wasn't nominated, which was kind of a snub, but it makes sense here. And then number 6, Coraline Farget for The Substance. Honestly, I would swap Denis for Coraline Farget solely because of the fact that I think the Golden Globes wants to also kind of like gentrify the category by adding a woman to this category just to kind of like spice things up. But at the same time, The Substance is one of the best directed films of the year, and it is the buzz in the town, so it makes sense to have it here. And I would love to see her be nominated in this category and just like in general this season. But yeah, it's like my Best Director predictions. And then next up, I have Best Picture Drama, starting with The Brutalist, Conclave, A Complete Unknown, Sing Sing, Dune 2, and Nickel Boys. The Brutalist, I think, right now is going to win, no matter what, because it has a really bold narrative with its being shot in VistaVision and shot in a $10 million fashion, and it's just a small movie that has a big kind of expansive heart. And number 2, I have Conclave. Argument I've stood by the last time around is it's a very traditional film that can probably hit with a lot of older voters. And number 3, A Complete Unknown. This is another one where it can completely go towards the older voters in terms of just being a traditional biopic musical thing. And number 4, Sing Sing. Again, the campaign has restarted, so you gotta like wait and see if this is actually going to appear here, but I think it's safe. Same with Dune Part 2. And finally, the Nickel Boys. This is one that I have been battling to kind of like put in and out of this category, mainly because of the fact of how not traditional but experimental the film is with its first-person point of view. But again, I think this is the zone of interest of this year where a lot of critics are going to like go super hard on this film, and it's going to like translate to precursor nominations, and it would make sense for it to be here in the number 6 category placement. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets snubbed here. And then just later on in the year, it continues to kind of work its way into other awards bodies like Critics' Choice and hopefully the Oscars. But yeah, that's my Best Picture Drama predictions. Next up, I have Best Supporting Actor with Kieran Culkin, Guy Pearce, Clarence Macklin, Denzel Washington, Stanley Tucci, and Yura Borisov. So number 1, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain. no matter what this movie goes towards in terms of just like the screenplay and picture, I think it's a surefire fact that Kieran Culkin is going to win Best Supporting Actor for this movie. If you've seen the movie, you know each scene he does is very hilarious, emotional, and just on fire. And sure, he's playing himself, but it won't like hurt him or like destroy his narrative. It's going to happen. I think I have a confidence in that. And then number 2, I have Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. From what I'm hearing, I haven't seen the movie yet. I really want to. I can't wait to check it out. But it seems like Guy Pearce is one of the highlights of the film, and this will be his first nomination here, from what I remember. And at the same time, he's a well-respected actor. He's been like in the business for a really long time, and I think it's like definitely a time for him to get that win. And then number 3, Clarence Macklin. The reason why I have him at number 3 is no matter what happens to Sing Sing, everybody's still going to talk about Clarence Macklin and his performance. He's on fire. His whole role is, again, kind of like Kieran Culkin, where you have a lot of like emotional scenes with him, where you know he's doing a lot of acting, but at the same time he's really committed to the role, and he's playing himself also as well. And then number 4, I have Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. I'm saying this week. Can't wait to check it out. Heard really good things about his performance, even though the movie has kind of like been middling for some. But no matter what, people have been talking about Denzel Washington's performance in it. And number 5, I have Stanley Tucci for Conclave. I don't know who else would be like grabbing the supporting acting role for Conclave, because everybody's like split between, you know, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, and there's other characters in the film that have a lot of like great moments. But I saw this again yesterday, and I still have to like pick Stanley Tucci because the Globes really like Tucci as an actor. I think he was nominated for his reality show a long time ago, and he's a name that people know. So you got to like put him here. And number 6, I have Yuri Borisov for Anora. People are fighting it out between which supporting actor, Anora actor should be nominated, but I think Yuri Borisov is the right one and the right choice, because even though he's kind of like in the background in the first half of the movie, he gets a really shining moment in the second half, and he ends his kind of last scene perfectly, and it leaves a mark. So you got to put him in here. And that's like my best supporting actor predictions. All right, next up I have best supporting actress. Zoe Saldana, Ariana Grande, Felicity Jones. I said Felicity, but yeah, Felicity Jones, Selena Gomez, and Isabella Rossellini, and Danielle Deadwyler. Starting with Zoe Saldana, she has a solid ground with Emilia Perez. No matter what the movie is going for or how terrible it is for film Twitter, no matter what, Zoe Saldana is going to win. I have strong confidence in that right now. And then number 2, I have Ariana Grande. Reason being is because Wicked, the word of mouth is getting really strong, and the Globes really enjoys spectacle. So it makes total sense for Ariana Grande to be nominated and might win here. And then Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. I've heard good things about her performance. She appears in the second half of the movie from what I'm hearing, and she does like everything that she can to be a part of this like supporting actress field. And number 4, I have Selena Gomez. Comes with Emilia Perez. If it overperforms in nominations, you have to bring Selena Gomez into the forefront. Number 5, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. Again, no matter what, even though the movie with her performance, Isabella only appears in like 10-15 minutes of the movie, and she has one really huge speaking line and kind of disappears. But at the same time, she really hits that like speaking line, and it's like a smoke bomb. It's just like, oh shit, like she really said something, and then that was that. And it kind of like grows on you as you continue watching the movie. Number 6, Danielle Deadwyler for The Piano Lesson. I saw this yesterday as I'm recording this video. I will be talking about The Piano Lesson as it's coming out next week on Netflix, but all I'll say is her performance is really strong and she deserves to be a part here. And I understand the narrative of her kind of missing out the last time around with like the To Leslie debacle. You can Google that if you want to, but I know a lot of people are kind of like, damn, like we fucked up on that, and we kind of like have to bring her into the forefront for this nomination pool, and it makes sense. And at the same time, I totally understand. And seeing the performance in the movie, it's good. It's really good. And yeah, so best supporting actress. That's my predictions for them. Next up, I have Best Actor Musical Comedy, starting with Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain. Number 2, Glenn Powell for Hitman. Number 3, Mark Edelstein for Honora. Number 4, I have Sebastian Stan for either The Apprentice or A Different Man. And then number 5, I have Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night. And number 6, I have Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool 2. Or not Deadpool 2, Deadpool and Wolverine. So starting with Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain. This is a really solid kind of surefire pick, if I should say, because if A Real Pain does really well in terms of nominations, you gotta have to like commit to the predictions for Jesse Eisenberg winning here, because even though I understand like his screenplay is really strong, but like his acting, it's kind of like him playing himself. But if you saw the movie, you understand why I think he would win here, because he has a lot of like great moments in the movie. He has an emotional moment halfway through the movie at the dinner table, and it's like a really solid kind of foreground. And number 2, Glenn Powell for Hitman. Hitman, the movie itself, did really good on Netflix. It kind of like came and went. But again, it's a really like expansive role. Like he's playing a lot of like roles. He's like in makeup. He's doing a lot of like acting, and he's really committing to the assignment. And it just makes sense. It's like totally makes sense here. And then number 3, I have Mark Edelstein for Honora. And this is again... Oh shit, hold on a second. Mark Edelstein, yeah. I don't have like the picture right here on my little graphic, but I'll say this. I think his performance in Honora is really fantastic. It's one of the best kind of acting debuts that I've seen this year. And it makes sense here for him to be here, because if Honora is like overperforming in nominations, you gotta like pick Mark Edelstein no matter what. And then Sebastian Stan for either A Different Man or Apprentice. And I say this because The Apprentice is going to be divisive for those who've seen it. And right now, nobody wants to like touch like Trump shit. So you got to like pick either that or A Different Man, which is another Sebastian Stan performance, which I really loved. And I think is slightly a little bit better than The Apprentice, in my opinion. Slightly. But, and then number 5, Saturday Night for Gabriel LaBelle. It's on a network that hosts Saturday Night Live, so you gotta like throw it in there. And then number 6, Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool and Wolverine. He was nominated the last time around for Deadpool, and it's one of the biggest movies of the year, so you gotta put it there. And that's like my Best Actor Musical Comedy predictions. And then next up, I have Best Animated Feature for The Wild Robot, and then Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, Moana 2, Flow at number 6. I have no comments on any of these nominations, if I want to be super honest, and I say this because The Wild Robot, I think, is going to win. It's one of the most original animated films of the year. It's huge. It made bank at the box office, and people love it, and I really enjoyed it. Same with Inside Out 2 and Memoir of a Snail. Those are other animated films that I really enjoyed. Number 4, Wallace and Gromit. Can't wait to see it. I really love the British boys. I hope it's good. I heard good things about it from those who saw it early. Moana 2, this is kind of like a filler choice if all else fails. And Flow also as well is kind of like a filler choice, but it isn't really, because I think it's like a better like animated film. It should be top contender, but it's a really small animated film. And for those who've seen Flow, yeah, it's peak. Like, you gotta like check it out. But yeah, that's like my Best Animated Feature predictions. I have no thoughts on these. And finally, we have Best Actress Musical or Comedy. Mikey Madison at number 1. Carla Sofia Garcon at number 2. Excuse me. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked at number 3. And then number 4, Zendaya for Challengers. Number 5, Demi Moore for The Substance. And number 6, Amy Adams for Night Bitch. Mikey Madison is the front runner for Best Actress here. And also at the Oscars right now, I don't see anybody touching her right now. Maybe Carla Sofia Garcon for Emilia Perez, but that's only if the movie really overperformed in nominations. And then number 3, I have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Not pictured here, but I will say, from what I'm hearing, her performance is really great, and the Wicked kind of promotion has been kind of highlighting her performance as well as like Ariana Grande. And from what I've been hearing, it's just as good as what Ariana Grande is doing in the film. And number 4, I have Zendaya for Challengers. This is, again, the only fair shot that it could get nominated here in terms of, Challengers, aside from Best Score. But I gotta like put her here because she's a big name. Globes really enjoy like the big famous names, even though again they cleaned up shop last year. So you gotta like put her here. And number 5 and number 6, these are kind of like inspired choices, but it could go either way. I think Demi Moore at number 5 for The Substance makes sense because she's campaigning the fuck out of this award season right now. And at the same time, even though the movie, it's a genre kind of bias thing where it's a horror movie, but if you really like go like deep into like the narrative and like actually like watch the movie, maybe aside from like the last 20 minutes of the movie, but if you really watch it, like Demi Moore is putting her best work and she's well respected and deserves like a nomination. And number 6, Amy Adams for Night Bitch. Movie has faded. It could come back in December when the movie comes out. This is another one that I saw. I think it's fantastic. I kind of had problems with it, but at the same time, Amy Adams' performance is like one of the best probably in a while. So again, makes sense to have her here, and it's probably going to hit a lot of voters who are mothers. Even though the movie, kind of like The Substance, it plays around with horror, but not like to the point where it's like gross out. But yeah, that's like my best actress musical comedy. And yeah, that's basically it for my Golden Globes predictions for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm kind of like rushing it out because I want to like get in front of the line before everybody else starts to populate these predictions. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be reviewing more movies, so keep a lookout for that. And yeah, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, do whatever you can to kind of like spread the word. Yeah, peace out, guys.